What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today we are looking at some more Orcs Must Die 3. We are heading into the split stairs today. This is the 4th level on the Riftlord difficulty, and I'll be going through some of the changes that you'll need to deal with this level after the September patch, which nerfed Ice Amulet and Barricades slightly. The Ice Amulet had its duration reduced, and the Barricades should be able to take a bit less damage than they used to. Either way, we're going to jump into the level, and then we can talk about how I cleared this and some things to look out for as you get into it. Alright, getting started. You start off on the first of two sets of staircases here. This is the staircase that I like to block off. Blocking this one off is just more routine for me. You can probably block off either one and get similar results, but that's the one that I've learned, and that's the one that I'm going to share with you. There's specific things that I do with it because of how the sappers and things like that come out, and it might actually be a little bit different if you choose to block off the staircase that I leave open. Maybe at some point I'll test it out and put up another video of it as well. But either way, this is sort of my first clear strategy for this map, and it's worked pretty well for me even after the patch with the reduced freezing and everything else. So you can choose to take out the ogres there or the archers first. You just want to try to crowd control whichever group you are not immediately going to deal with. That way they're not chunking out your health or just micro or stutter step or micro strafe, whatever you want to call it, in between the archers if you're going to be dealing with the orcs first. Either way, once you take them out, you'll have a second set of enemies to deal with. It's very important that you place those barricades in front of the other set of stairs before you begin, because you really won't get a chance to breathe until you finish off this first set of enemies. You're going to get a few situations where you have those ogres sort of darting around and pushing enemies around, just because they'll be in the middle of a pack of orcs when they arrive, and if they see you, there's a chance that somebody could pop behind you when that happens. Just always be aware of that and have a look around. This Arcane Brimstone is probably the favorite thing that I've started doing in this level. Placed specifically where it was, it blows up most of the sappers in a kamikaze explosion after the first one steps onto it. And that essentially saves so much money on your barricades. You don't have to worry about them taking full damage. Even with the slightly reduced health, we have a situation where you really don't just have to rebuild them repeatedly. But there's a lot of sappers on this level, and with the way that things work out, eventually they may even wind up getting through that set. So I think around wave 4, we're still going to build a second set of barricades in the back, but we want to make sure that we focus on getting a little bit of damage going here. That barricade cleanly saves you enough time on the first 3 waves to prevent them from getting through there just by sapping the cades, though. So it works. It's good. That said, you're going to have a lot of heavy orcs in this level, and not just because of the shields that they normally carry, but because they're resistant to headshots and generally only take lightning damage really heavily. You're going to want to make sure that you have some sort of lightning trap. Having no lightning will just make things a lot harder here for you. But having a bit of lightning will help against them, the ogres and the armored ogres, and I think that's just a good move. Now, as far as ceiling traps, you do have a couple of options. Literally only 2. You have your auto ballista, which I use here mainly because I'm trying to make sure that the larger enemies, the heavier ones, the heavy orcs, the ogres, and the heavy ogres, don't really make it all the way up. And the range on the ballista, especially when placed on that edge there, still allows them to try to shoot some of the heavier enemies as they're making their way around the staircase because of the way that it's shaped. That said, whenever you have the landing or platform, whatever you want to call it, first one sort of trapped up completely, ballista are a good choice, and they'll help to deal with enemies coming into that area and leaving it. But you also will want to make sure that you set up the second landing with some more lightning specifically, maybe some Arcane Brimstone to enhance the lightning traps as well, just to make sure that anything that does manage to eke past the first landings trap setup will essentially be dead without you having to do too much up there. You can't necessarily fully automate everything here and still be cognizant or prepared for the par times that they have here. They pretty much force you to try to eliminate everything with as big a burst of damage as possible. But at the same time, you only have to do that once, so it's really not that big of a deal. Lightning traps are super preferred here as well, just because, heavy orcs and armored ogres don't really deal poorly with anything other than that. But I mentioned the auto ballista. The other option for ceiling traps here was the gravity pillar. The gravity pillar won't help against the ogres much, but it will help you deal with the heavy orcs and the other units, and will be able to deal them damage. It's not a bad idea to go ahead and experiment with that as well, but you won't have something that can really deal well with the heavy units, and that'll put more pressure on you to deal with them. Not necessarily a bad idea, just because of the sort of removal of the heavy ogre threat as often, but at the same time, like, I haven't tested it as much, so you guys will have to be the judge of that. When I try another form of clearing this, I might give that a shot instead of the auto ballista, just to see how it works. But I won't have that information until I actually get it done. That said, this clear is pretty safe at this point. This, whatever I'm doing with the Ice Amulet freezing the large group of enemies, would have made a lot more sense if I'd actually just shot the boom barrels up there. The boom barrel cluster would have got me like a huge mega kill or multi-kill and took out a bunch of enemies, got me bonuses and everything. And I just didn't do it, and I have no clue why. On most of the times I play through the stage, when I actually get like a big freeze or something like that, I will shoot it, but I guess I was just kind of out of it this time. That said, making sure that you're alternating the tar will help, that so that you don't have to deal with too many enemies getting past that second landing. And it should really be the point of no return for you. Anything getting past there just shouldn't be alive. But after you get that second set of barricades on the barricaded stairs, whichever side that might be, you're pretty much home free. You don't have to worry about sappers anymore, as long as you have some damage source dealing with them. And you can just focus on taking out all of the problem units that might have a chance of actually getting to your rift if you don't. And everything else will be taken care of by the traps. The more ballista you put up, the faster they'll be pegging the enemies down. And you can really just spam everything out here. If you get the ballistas in the center rather than the edge there, they may even be able to shoot at some of the other enemies just because they'll have the range to. But really depends on what you want to do. You can build out the second landing first. You can just spam the auto ballista. It all works. The key is pretty much just dealing with those sappers. But that said, that's pretty much the end of this. These guys are going to be taken care of in like another 40 seconds or so. So, feel free to let me know what you guys think of this particular clear. Do you like it? Not like it? Feel free to thumbs up or down the video. Heat that like button up if you guys are really enjoying this stuff. I know some people left me a comment saying they liked it before, and I'm sorry that it took so long for me to get this particular video out. I did have a hard drive crash that literally corrupted this particular video. I had to re-record it to get it out to you guys, and I'll be doing the same thing with the next video as well. I had to record it before and I had to do it again. So we'll go over what I've learned and whether or not that was affected by the patch that nerfed a couple of the items in the game. But yeah, if you enjoy it, if you like this style of video, follow me and you'll be able to see some of the other things that I'll be putting up on the channel. And yeah, like thanks as always for all the support. I sincerely appreciate it. If y'all want to see me live as well, you can follow me over at Twitch. I'm on Twitch at twitch.tv/vphoenixgames. It's VEE Phoenix Games, and you'll also have a link in the description of this video. But let me know what you guys think as always, and as always, take care of yourselves. Like, that's super important, especially with everything going on in the world these days. And until the next video, until the next time we get to speak or chat or anything, I want you to take care of yourselves and have a good one, folks. Peace.